What's going on everybody, DiGi Valentine here right about now. Street Fighter 6 is shaping up to be one of the most content-rich and user-accessible games in the series yet. The amount of hype I have for this game far outstrips the excitement I had for Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 5 combined. With that in mind, I felt it was only right to make a video listing the characters I absolutely want to see make it into the roster for this game. These are the characters I want to see in the beautiful art style that is being shown for Street Fighter 6's story mode. These are the characters I want to see have a complete graphical glow up in the RE engine. These are the characters I want to see utilize the brand new mechanics that Street Fighter 6 has to offer, and I want to see how their fighting styles are incorporated into it. These are the characters I want in Street Fighter 6. Sean. This is long overdue. That doesn't even need to be said. Everybody knows it's long overdue. Sean needs to be a playable character in Street Fighter 6. The fact that he's not front and center is ludicrous, considering the style, aesthetic, and all the hip hop culture that is being displayed in bucket loads for this game. This should be Sean's game. And the fact that he isn't does raise some eyebrows as to why that might be. And I think it's because Capcom know people want him, so they're saving him for DLC, which is kind of shitty, but I see why they would do that. They've done this before in the past and they're probably going to continue doing this again in the future. So the fact that there's such a high demand for Sean to make a comeback might be why Capcom are leaving him off the base roster and probably going to use him as a DLC character. But if they do that, if Capcom are saving Sean for a DLC slot, then I have one request in that regard, okay? I want Capcom to pull out all the stops for his DLC and make Sean the face of that season for that DLC season. He has to be front and center. I want them to make a massive trailer for him, put him as the poster boy for that season, make him front and center. No excuses. You've got to hype this boy up. He deserves to be here, and the fact that he's not here yet means I'm hoping and praying for DLC, but if it is going to be DLC, you got to go to town with it. No excuses. Alex. When it comes to this character, I mean, I don't play as him at all. I'm terrible with grapple characters and I can't get anything going with this character, but I will say this. I absolutely love watching people play as Alex. It's so fun when they get into a flow with him. It's probably some of the best fighting game content I like to watch when it comes to one-on-one fighters. Just watching someone take Alex, put him through his paces and absolutely dominate the opponent is just breathtaking to watch. So I really want to see Alex come back. I want to see how Alex will utilize all the mechanics in this game. But on top of that as well, I actually want to see where they're going to take him story-wise, because they obviously presented him as the poster boy, the lead protagonist for the Street Fighter 3 series. And now with Street Fighter 6 taking place the furthest in the timeline, it's making me wonder if Alex has any sort of importance at that point in the story. I think Gil was sort of painting him up to be some sort of important figure. I don't know if that was canon, but at the same time, I'll be curious to see where Alex is at this point in the storyline. Poison. There's no two ways about this. Poison is one of my absolute favorite characters from the entire series, and I just want to see her back again. I just really want to see her back again. I know she's been around for the last couple of games, and that's mostly down to Ono pushing for her, and I'll say this actually. During Ono's time working on the Street Fighter series, he might have made some absolutely royal cock-ups in terms of decision making, but if there's one thing he did and did it consistently, it's that he championed the hell out of this character and made her playable in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, Street Fighter 4, and much to my surprise when it was announced, Street Fighter 5 as well. I don't know if anybody at Capcom now would push for her inclusion as much as Ono did, but if there is someone in there at Capcom listening, please bring Poison back. Please bring Poison back in Street Fighter 6. Make her part of the roster. I don't care if it's going to be DLC, just please bring Poison back. Thank you, and I love you. Elena. Yeah, some of you will hate this, but I'm not even sorry. I really want Elena back. There's something about this character, the way she's been animated in the past, in Street Fighter 3 especially, the way she was animated in that game was smooth as butter. And I know they brought her back for Street Fighter 4 and it pissed a lot of people off. I am fully aware of the hate towards this character from a more hardcore competitive side of it, but from a more casual perspective, from someone who really appreciates just playing single player mode and enjoying the art styles for this game and enjoying the animations for this game, someone more in my position, a character like Elena is cream of the crop, top tier in terms of presentation. And knowing that Street Fighter 6 has this art fidelity, this RE engine that they're using, and the art style that they're using for the story mode, I just really want to see Elena in Street Fighter 6 for these reasons. I want to see how she would function in this game. How does her animations look? How does she move between attacks? How does she utilize other certain mechanics? What's her gimmick, you know? And you know what, just to appease and just to pacify some of the complaints about her, Capcom can even take away her healing ability if that will help. I will gladly take an Elena that doesn't have any healing capacity on her if it means we get her in the game and it pacifies some of the complaints about her. Regardless though, hating or not, I love Elena and I really want to see her again. Makoto. This character I feel needs a glow up. And I don't mean that like that she was bad before, no, she was good before. That's what makes this more interesting. She's always been a good character, but she's always been young. She's always been fighting to keep her dojo open, always trying to work towards making her dojo more successful. And that's always been her thing, and it stayed in that box. And knowing full well that Street Fighter 6 takes place the furthest in the timeline, this is one of the characters I really want to see how she glows up. Has she evolved as a martial artist? How is her dojo doing? Has she made any other bonds with any of the other characters? This is what I want to see from Makoto. I think her story, her presentation has been stuck very much in one small segment of the timeline, and it's time for her to really step out of that box now. In the same way that Sakura did in Street Fighter 5, there was a glow up. Sakura was this schoolgirl trope over and over again until Street Fighter 5 where there was this maturity glow up. I want to see how they mature Makoto now. So I definitely want to see Makoto in Street Fighter 6. Fei Long. Now, honestly, this could either be Fei Long himself or perhaps a student that he has trained of some kind, but either way, I really feel Street Fighter 6 needs a Jeet Kune Do master in here somewhere. Considering that the amount of energy that this martial art style brings, the amount of energy and style and presentation that Jeet Kune Do has to offer from a visual perspective, it would feel wrong to have the RE engine being utilized for Street Fighter 6 and not have Jeet Kune Do somewhere in here with all the quick strikes and the kicks and the 1-inch palm punches and all this stuff. I really feel that this engine would be brilliant at showing off this fighting style. So they can either bring Fei Long back himself, or they can make a brand new character that has been trained by Fei Long in the ways of Jeet Kune Do. Either way, I just really feel there needs to be a Jeet Kune Do representative here. And if it's Fei Long, then great, fantastic. But if it's not Fei Long, I think it needs to be a character closely connected to him. Dudley. You know, when it comes to Dudley, he's never had the most engaging storylines. But as a character with such charisma and charm as Dudley, you don't need to tell an epic tale. You just need the character on site for sheer presentation purposes alone. Dudley is simply there to wow you, and with the way Street Fighter 6 is wowing the crowds at the moment, it feels like the perfect game for him to fit into. The wow factor will go through the roof if Dudley is in this game, Capcom. Like, for real, you know for a fact that if you put Dudley in Street Fighter 6, he's going to completely blow up the internet. I don't even play as boxing characters very often, and being honest, I kinda suck when I play as Dudley. But he's one of those characters again that I just love watching people play as. He's got so much personality to the way he conducts himself in battle, and for a game like Street Fighter 6 that has all this presentation, it's oozing character and personality and charm. For a character like Dudley that houses all this personality and charm, it would be wrong for Street Fighter 6 to come and go and for Dudley not to be on the roster for this game. Right, those were my main characters that I absolutely have to see playable in Street Fighter 6, either as the main release roster or DLC later on down the line. I don't care how you get them in, Capcom. Those are the characters I would absolutely love to see in the playable roster. Aside from that though, I do have some honourable mentions that I would like to include, just for the sake of it. I'd say Ibuki to some degree. My concern with Ibuki is that from Street Fighter 3 onwards, I've been more and more disappointed with how she's been presented, how her personality has turned out, how her fighting style has changed, her costume design has changed. I've been getting more and more disappointed with Ibuki as the series went on. But to say that I wouldn't want to see her again is a stretch too far in the wrong direction. I wouldn't say that about Ibuki. I would like to see her again. I would like to see what they might do with her next, if it would improve my opinion of her. But so far, for the last couple of games, my opinion of her has been declining. And I would like to see her do something that makes me reinstate some faith back into her again. So I would like to see her in Street Fighter 6, sure. Vega, this comes from a place of just mostly being curious to see what he would do as a character now that Shadaloo is completely gone. Like in Street Fighter 4, he was sort of talking about potentially chasing immortality, and I've always thought that was a really interesting story aspect for him, considering that Vega is this vain, self-absorbed person who's pretty much in love with himself. And for someone who loves himself as much as he does, how would he feel about growing old one day and dying? He wouldn't want that. He would want to be immortal. So he's obviously been inspired and influenced by M. Bison's search for immortality. And I always thought that was a really interesting take with Vega. Like, what would happen if Shadaloo was completely gone one day? Would Vega go off on his own and chase his own destiny, so to speak? So I don't normally play as Vega. He's not a character that I gravitate towards in terms of playability, but I would love to see what a story arc for him would be like in Street Fighter 6. Sakura, she had a really nice glow up in Street Fighter 5. As I said before, she had a really nice glow up. She actually progressed part of an arc for herself. She wasn't just this schoolgirl trope anymore. She grew up, she matured, she got a job, she had responsibilities to attend to. So now that she's at this stage of her life, and knowing that Street Fighter 6 takes place the furthest in the timeline now, I'd be curious to see where that arc is going. She's got an arc on her trajectory now. I'd be curious to see where Capcom want to take Sakura from here. So I'd like to see her again. Q. I'm hesitant to say this, I don't play as Q, but from a lore perspective, there's always been this massive level of intrigue surrounding him. Okay, when it comes to Q, he's such a mysterious character. You're always wondering about what his storyline is about, what he's doing, where he's going, why is he doing what he does. There's always these big question marks surrounding the character. So knowing that Street Fighter 6 takes place after the Street Fighter 3 series, which is when Q first appeared, it makes me wonder, would Capcom potentially ruin that intrigue by including Q and elaborating on his story? Would it be a case of curiosity killing the cat? You know, I'm kind of worried because there's something enigmatic about Q. When you look at the way he's presented, you've always got questions. Every time he does something, you're wondering why he does it in that way. What's his whole game plan? What's he up to? You know, why is he doing what he does? And I'm kind of worried if they over-explain everything about Q, would it kill some of that mystery and intrigue? Like, we would get answers for him, sure, but then would those answers be a satisfying conclusion to all that mystery that they've built up over the years? A character like G that was in Street Fighter 5, he seems to be hovering around the series now, and he's seemingly got some connections to Q, and I don't know if they're going to answer some of that connection there. I'm curious to see what it is that G and Q have in common, what is their connection, and what is Q's storyline all about. But at the same time, I am ridiculously cautious from a lore perspective on what they would do with Q, considering that there's a huge potential to mess it up if they don't present the story correctly. And that's it. Aside from a very small select few characters that I absolutely never want to see again, I'm fine with the rest appearing or not appearing. I could take them or leave them either way. It's all cool either way. But what characters do you definitely need to see in this game's roster? Please let me know in the comments. I've been DiGi Valentine. Thanks for your time. Take care and stay safe.